I'm now going to introduce you to ratios. So the first thing you have to ask with a ratio is, what is a ratio? Well, it's just a comparison of two quantities. And so we'll be looking into it and seeing how it works. So like if you have two blue stars and 4 red stars, you can write it as 2:4, because that's 2 to 4. 2 with the word 2 for, or as a fraction 2/4. So there are 3 different ways we will write it. Most of the time we write it as a fraction, but sometimes we'll write it these ways, and we'll get into tables and graphs with ratios eventually. So we'll go through this problem. It says Lantern Middle School is adopting a new nickname. They have narrowed their search, and they're going to decide between tigers and lions. And to help them out, they decided to do a school-wide survey and tally the votes. So they have 4 homerooms that have results, and we're going to go through these. So it starts with homeroom 6A. Homeroom 6A said the votes for the tigers outnumbered the lions by a ratio of 260 to 180. So for this, you could say that because the Tigers says it's first, that's 240 votes on Tigers, and the Lions is 160. So the first word is Tigers, so we'd say the Tigers to the Lions, and it's in a ratio of 240 to 160. So we would compare it just like that. The Tigers go first, so the 240 goes first. And the Lions go second, so the 160. And the way we would say it in words is the results tell me that for every 240 students who prefer Tigers, there will be 160 who prefer Lions. And this is a part-to-part because it's Tigers to Lions. It's not Tigers to the whole. Okay, the next one, it says that there were 80 more votes for Tigers than Lions. Well, this one's kind of weird because if it's 80 more votes, you could say if they had, 80 more votes for Tigers. So if you had 80 votes for the Tigers, then you would have 0 votes for the Lions because it's 80 more votes for the Tigers. But say you had 100 votes for the Tigers. And then that would mean, since it's 80 more, 20 votes for the Lions. And you can see this is not a ratio because a ratio has to have it in the same, it has to have the same fraction. And you can see 80 divided by 0 is not the same thing as 100 divided by 2. So the way we would say this one is the results tell me that only how many more students prefer Tigers, not the ratio. We don't know anything else about it other than 80 more students liked it. The next one, the votes for the Tigers outnumbered the votes for the Lions by 3 to 2. So you would say if there were 3 Tiger votes, then there would be 2 Lion votes. So if you said there were, say there were 6 Lion votes, then there would be, so if I said if there were 6 Tiger votes, and then I went 3 times 2 is 6, so 4 times 2 is 4 Lion votes. This is a ratio, and it's just a little bit different. This results tell me that every 3 students who prefer Tigers, there will be 2 who will prefer Lions. So this is a part-to-part. So you could say if there were 30 students that would like Tigers, 20 would like Lions. It's just telling you what the ratio is. The last one, 3 out of 5 votes were for Tigers. So that means that there are 3 votes for Tigers, and there are 5 total. So there would be 2 votes for the Lions. So this tells me for every 5 students surveyed, there are 3 of them who prefer Tigers, and this is a part to a whole. And so that is how ratios work. You have to think through if it's going to be equivalent fractions, then they are equivalent ratios, which we'll get into later. But you're basically just setting it up as what is the part and what is the whole.